let's do the start one. Okay, tier 1 is obviously S tier. Um, I mean, it's not really S tier, but you know, you get the point. Let's say this is like at tier 3. Okay, the rest are all like the same. Then tier 4, tier 5, they're kind of like low tiers in general, you know. But okay, tier 1 teams, best teams are okay. Zero, Doom, probably the best team in the game. These two. Okay. This two is the two best teams in the game. And then you got um, this could be Chun-Li or anything. Okay. Morgan, Phoenix, and then the Zero may cry. Okay, Zero, Dante. I guess Zero Virgil Dante. That's the best way to, anyways. Okay, like that. So the tier 1, these are the 4 best teams in the game. This doesn't have to be Chun-Li. It should be Morrigan, Phoenix. It could be any point character that's like able to stall. Um, so obviously the 3 best characters in the game, I made a video about it like last week or so. It's no doubt is between the 3 best is like Zero, Morrigan, and Phoenix, right? The 3 best characters in the game, obviously. But there's no team that's like composed that has 2 of those top 3 characters, except for this Morgan and Phoenix, which is obviously known that to be very strong, but nobody has really tapped the full potential of it until Ryan LB showed it. There's like a first glimpse of it. It was like Al Yoon came up with it, and then there's like also Rusty Shackleford, but nobody has really mastered it in a way that Ryan LB has done, right? So, anyways, these are tier 1 teams. These are the absolute best 4 teams in the game, like bar none. Um, okay, so now we got a tier 2 guys. Now what can we do to add some? Okay, now we got the tier 2 boys. I guess I can just put it here. Tier 2. Okay, tier 2 teams that are like, this is not in order, but this like, it could be, these are all, Virgil, actually Phoenix is better in this. And then you guys gonna see a trend in here, what it looks like. And then it's like a Zero Doom. You're gonna see a lot of Dooms and Dantes, primarily Doom, and also Virgils in these things. Zero Doom Phoenix. And then you also have Morrigan, Doom, Strider teams. So you're gonna see a lot of this. The tier 2. I think you have to put also the Magneto Doom Virgil here at the very end of it. Okay, so just because your team is not, by the way, these are all top tiers. Okay, I'm just putting in the improper tiers, so it's all known, right? Like I know you're. Let's say you're playing this team, right? Zero Doom Phoenix. Like they're top tier. There's no doubt. Okay, but there's other top tier teams better than it. Okay. By the way, in Marvel 3, you can win up to tier 3. Okay, if you have a tier 3 team, you can win. It doesn't really matter. Like the skill kind of like carries over. As long as you like, actually any character to be honest, like as long as they're like high tier. There's so many viable characters in this game. Yeah. Well, these are, to be honest, if you want to add this one is actually potentially, this is gonna be one of the top teams, but it's never got to that point because nobody picked it. Okay, but this is potentially could be a very strong team. Okay, Zero, Morgan Dante. This one, like Zero would always be Sugenbu. This is gonna be very strong in general. He shuts down so many teams, like 10-0 matchups across the board. Imagine fighting Zero that's always Sugenbu all the time. So this one has a lot of potential. Untapped potential in this one. This is super endgame control. Okay? It could be Zero, Morgan, Doctor Doom as well. It doesn't matter. But this one, potentially, it could be tier 1 team as well. Viper Doom Emmy is tier 3. What's up, Cobra? But we'll get there. Okay, so let's add a tier 3 team. I guess they just put it here. Because there might be some space here needed. I guess I put it here. Use more space. Okay, this one could be Doom as well, but this is just a lot of potential. I guess I'll just make another column. So it's probably the best front heavy team. Front heavy team doesn't have anchor, so this one is so strong. But it obviously has weakness versus anchors, because what happens, like if you lose Zero, you have Morgan Dante or Morgan Doom, you're gonna start to chip them out, but then their anchors will always survive because you lack offense when you have this.
Oh yeah.
Big C, what's up, baby? Good stuff, man. Appreciate. Yeah, but like if you have these teams, these are like really strong, okay? But it does, like I'm telling you, up to tier 3 team, you can definitely do it. And this, by the way, just because they're not rated as a singular top tier character, it doesn't mean they're not viable, okay? It's a team game, so a lot of these teams, but okay. So tier 3 teams, these are teams that can win. And they're also top tier, so like, okay, here we go. You guys know about this. You got Apology Man's team, right? Which is Firebrand. These are tier 3 teams. Okay, you got KBR's team. Right? These are tier 3 teams that's able to win, no problem. Magneto, Doom, Sentinel, Ray Ray's team. Team Nemo, which is Nova, Doctor Strange, Spencer. Then you got Nova, Spencer, Doom. Then you got, let's see, no. You got a bunch of the Nova teams are usually here. Nova, Doom, Strider teams. But these are the teams that can win, no problem. Okay, like these guys can fight these. These are like the top of the food chain kind of like teams. That's so far that we've discovered. You know. X Morgan Doom. What do you mean? What do you mean X Morgan Doom? No, definitely not. Oh, Magneto Morgan Doom. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Magneto Morgan Doom is definitely tier 3. That's one of my teams too. Yeah. It's actually Morgan Magneto Doom, but you know, but it doesn't matter. It's interchangeable. Actually, I can't even put my Mag Dorm Doom team here in tier 3 maybe at the very bottom of it, but it's pushing it. But that's able to win for sure. It's not really Chun-Li. It could be any point character. It's basically having the top 3 characters in the game in the same team. So it's not necessarily Chun-Li. Yeah. Yeah, but this is like the gist of it. There's also MODOK teams, like okay, like Priest team, right? That falls in the tier 3 team. Like you see, like look at that. Like you have Mag Doom, right? Mag, MODOK, Doom, right? That you could see that it falls in that category. Okay, you got Viper, Doom, Ami. This is not in order, by the way. This is that it could be anything because it's a team tier in general. Only these 2 are in order. These 2 teams are like the 2 best, but it doesn't matter anyways. These are so close. A lot of it doesn't matter who's the point character as long as the point character can stall. So you could put Trish, it could be Doctor Doom, it could be Magneto, any character that can stall. You know, yeah. Yeah, so 20 seconds, 20 Marvel seconds basically gives you guaranteed, 16 gives you guaranteed Dark Phoenix already with that team. Which gives you a 7-3 off top after 7-3 matchup instantly. Yeah, but yeah, these guys, Viper, Doom, Strider, you know, you get the point. Yeah, these guys are very much capable of winning. Yeah, so that's also a tier 3 team. Like, because it has a win condition, Anchor, Dante, Frank. Like, Beast team for sure falls into that category. Like a Spencer, Dante, Frank, right? Okay. Let's see. Let's also add yeah, I got Nova, Doom, Strider here. This could be like Nova, Doctor Strange, Strider. It doesn't matter. But these teams, Justin's team is definitely whack. The only thing that's a saving grace there is like Wolverine, Akuma is actually at tier 3 shell. Storm is whack. Justin is just amazing. Yeah, that's the reality. It's amazing. So that works. You want me to say? He ain't getting carried by any character. Okay, guys, let's just keep it real. Justin Wong's amazing. So, right? I don't think that's any news. That's not a news, right? That's not news flash. Like I thought that was like common knowledge that everybody knows. Mr. Wong is amazing. Amazing, like, you know, so makes you work for sure. But Justin Wong has countered a few times. He picked Virgil point. Yeah, Justin carries his team for sure. Right? So, this is like the beauty about Marvel. Like, there's so many. I know people. If you're not say like if you're not aware or that familiar or educated about Marvel 3 in general, and then you're coming from a new game and you look at this, or like, oh my god, that's not really a bunch of teams. It's just like maybe 15 characters you just put together and then you just scramble them, you make them a team, so that's why you have so many viable teams. That's not necessarily the case. So for instance, in Marvel 2, when you pick Storm, Sentinel, Captain Commando, which is considered like a top 3 team, and then if you swap out Commando and you put in Cyclops, which is also a top tier assist, both teams are top tier, but the Commando team, the Storm, Sentinel, Captain Commando, is better, and you can't really play them the same exact way. They play so different despite having one character who's just an assist, basically. So in Marvel 3, it's more enhanced that way. Sure, you can say, well, Doom Virgil is so strong. I understand that. But when you have Morgan, let's say Morgan Doom Virgil, right? And it's played this way. The Morgan Doom Virgil, let's say Morgan's about to die. He's actually incentivized to actually save Morgan to give more meter to Virgil in general. And this one will zone. The Zero will zone, but it will also attack a lot more. Let's say it's compared to this team, right? But the Zero Doom Virgil, like if the Zero is about to die, he wouldn't really care. He would just let Zero die and just let that Pixel Zero rock. If it hits you, then he can bodies your whole team. Okay, and saves all the meter left for Doom Virgil later on. And Morgan would want to be saved because she's amazing support in general. So just that one character difference. Magneto Doom Phoenix plays so different compared to Magneto Doctor Doom Sentinel, which is Ray Ray's team. So different, played so different. Okay, but yeah, there's so many Dante combinations as well that I may have failed to put here, but this is basically the gist of it. Obviously there will be like a, so look, tier 3 team, right? You can put Wolverine here. You can put Wolverine Akuma for sure. Let's say Wolverine, Dante, also Akuma, SBK's team. This is like tier 3 teams that works. There's like very good set play here, right? Wolverine, Virgil, Akuma. 100% tier 3 team will just fucking body your shit quick. These are tier 3 teams. So what's a tier 4-3 champ? Well, tier 4 teams are teams that are not necessarily like, it's just lacks on every department, but seems strong on paper, but lacks on every department, okay? So let's just say, okay, K-Brad's team. K-Brad's team is not a tier 3 team, but a tier 4 team can fight most of the teams, but it's just not better, right? But so the K-Brad's team, let's say Trish, right? Like, yeah, Trish, Virgil, Dante kind of team, right? That's a pretty good tier 4 or late tier 3 team. Yeah, because you have that. But you get the point. I'm not sure. Maybe you could even bump them here. But let's say, you know what? Maybe this is a bad example. Actually, I forgot about this team. You can actually put this team in, yeah, maybe tier 3 or, but this for sure is one of those. But okay, so let me see. Prime example tier 4 team would be like, actually Milky's team is tier 3, so let's put that here. Front heavy teams, has strong set play, very strong neutral, just lacks anchor, you know. Okay, so we got this guy. Tier 4 team, tier 4 would be like, let me see. Oh, perfect. Here, tier 4 team. Okay, yeah, prime example. This is an example, okay? MODOK, Strange, Doom, okay, or you could have, let's see, like, you know, those Taskmaster, fucking Doom Sentinel teams, right? Unknown's team, Jahi's team, Wesker, Sentinel, Viper, like that kind of teams. Fanatics team, Magneto, Storm, Sentinel. Knives team, which is Spencer, Sentinel, Akuma. Yeah. Can Nova point for a Dorm Doom team? Well, to be honest, if you play a Nova Dorm Doom, it's gonna play the same way as Magneto Dorm Doom, but it's slightly worse. Because the good thing about a Magneto Dorm Doom is that Magneto has so much synergy with Dorm, because you could do Shockwave, clears the whole screen, and then Ball. I'm sure you could say you could do Speed Tackle, then Ball, but I'm just saying, like, this one clears the whole screen and pretty easy control, run away. Nova can't really decide if he's gonna attack or he's gonna zone. Also, if you have Dorm on the screen, Dormammu can utilize Disruptor so well, right? But then Nova assist is not a good assist because he uses red health, he uses the shield, which is the only thing viable. Then the rest is just the overhead kick. So that team, the Nova Dormammu Doom, falls into this category of tier 14. So it's one of those situations that your team is somewhat good enough, you feel, but there's like a couple things that lacks, right? So like this is a pretty good too. This is a pretty good one, okay? Wesker, Magneto, Virgil teams, okay? So these guys. To be honest, Hagar has a lot of like, so if you have like Magneto Dorm, Hagar, that team, like Ramasama's team and Jesu Kiddo, those are like bottom of the tier 3 teams. Could be put also into tier 4s. But you would be surprised that why MODOK Dorm Dooms is below that Mag Dorm Hagar. You know, you would be surprised, but it does, because Hagar, I know he doesn't seem like a strong quote-unquote character, but he adds some value to a team, which is stability. So some people that can attack, but if there's a 1 frame gap that they could able to call Hagar, you have to stop regardless, even if it's your turn, and that creates another opportunity for you to play. And to have Hagar in your team, it guarantees you to play like if you're getting mauled, you know? And Hagar has very good buttons. You know, he has some real blind 50-50 mix-ups in the incoming as well. So he adds so much stability compared to the MODOK Dorm Doom, who's like, this team would get completely demolished by Nova teams, Nova Spencers, Zeros, Magneto, like any anchor gets completely demolished by this, right? Like any anchor. So they think about these teams, right? These teams all get destroyed by the tier 1, tier 2 teams, okay? But if you fight Mag Dorm Dante or Magneto Dorm Hagar, you can't really say that they will get dominated like completely free, right? Like Virgil Dante Strider or like Virgil Doom Strider teams, they don't dominate this team, but they would dominate these guys, you know? So you can kind of like see the gist of like what makes a top tier team top tier, like an extra top tier. Obviously, there's like a shit ton of low tier teams, a shit ton of them. Okay, you get like Ghost Rider, Sentinel, yada yada. But like I'm saying, like Marvel 3 has been out for about 8 years, I think. Yeah, 8 years or so. 9. Yeah. So that we've kind of learned about 50 or 60% of the game already. That we know this is the good shit. Nova Virgil Strange. That one has potential. You can argue that they could be a tier 3 team, right? At worst tier 4, but I think that falls in the tier 3 category. Yeah, a mini boss, which is like, what's his team again? Virgil, Doctor Strange, Doctor Doom, right? Those things. Yeah, so that team is a Virgil front heavy team, so that falls into the tier 3 team. Yeah, mini boss team, which is like, okay. Yeah, that's a very front heavy. So if you think about it, right? If you look at the tier 3 teams, primarily they're less anchor kind of teams. Okay, they're like front heavy. Front heavy teams are like has very strong neutral, has a game plan, has set play, right? Very strong neutral, but lacks anchor, which is okay in Marvel 3. In Marvel 3, there's two kinds of teams. There's front heavy teams, and there's teams with like complete, which has an anchor. But the problem with you have just an anchor, you lack some neutral as well. So like, because a front heavy team would be able to call 2 assists all the time, and then their mid game, which is like, let's say you lose your point character, they still have a complete shell regardless, because they have a front heavy team. Okay, they just lose in like, they just have a disadvantage later on when it comes to the anchor fights. Like, look at like the Nova Spencer Dr. Doom, like Coach Steve, right? Obviously, you lose Nova, he still has Spencer Doom in general. Lose this guy, you will have Doom. But compared to these teams, you lose Zero, you have Doom Virgil, has a strong mid game, but then you have Virgil who just wipes out the entire team, right? Same as goes with the Strider teams or the Phoenix teams. So that one is like a difference, but doesn't mean like obviously having an anchor is better, but it's not like the only reason for somebody to win. It's just a good way to also have an assurance, right? And you can like somewhat control the chaos if you do have an anchor as well. But yeah, if you look at these team composition, team compositions in general, it's actually pretty unique in my opinion. Underrated characters, Beautiful Joe is underrated. We haven't really seen the full potential of that character. Like, there's like so many teams that like could be good. Like, okay, this is like this duo has very strong support. Okay, and this is a pretty strong shell. Okay, is the Doctor Strange Rocket Raccoon shell is actually a really good shell in general. Okay, the thing is, we haven't got to a point to optimize that all the way, but that's a good one, you know. Hey, what's up? What's up, Migs? Spencer, Virgil, Hawkeyes, that team does not really exist. I feel like it sucks. But Calpe's team for sure is definitely tier 3. Yeah, Calpe's team for sure. I'll put that here. Yeah, obviously I will miss a few, but like basically these kind of teams, right? Oops, what the fuck did I do? Yeah, but obviously these teams, this is not in order, okay? Not in order, okay? Don't put that. Not like any, not this is like any order in general. Okay. The only thing that's in order here, I mean, I guess this is still the same. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah, but in Marvel 3, you only need to have a tier 3 team to actually... Oops. What the fuck happened to Fireman? Okay. You only need to have a tier 3 team to actually win a tournament. You don't need to have a... Like, it obviously is better to have tier 2, tier 1, but tier 3 teams are completely fine. Team Nemo is tier 3. Team Nemo in general is, you could argue it's worse than the Nova